Hey everybody, welcome to the Summer of Live. Thank you for anyone who's joining me from Jeremy's live stream. I was on with Jeremy Hubble on Friday, kind of just introducing my Summer of Live and kind of what that was and what it was going to be about. So thank you for everybody who's joining from that. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about getting the highest resolution from Zoom. So as you may or may not have known, like Zoom is a great meeting tool, and they built their platform so it works well for meetings no matter what. You don't have to have high bandwidth, you don't have to have whatever, like it just makes it work. And part of the reason, the way that they do that is they change the resolution that they're sending and receiving based on your bandwidth and a bunch of other different things. So now that we're starting to use it more for live streaming and production, there are a few things that you need to do and a few different scenarios too. So the first scenario is scenario one. You're just using the Zoom Ecamm integration for bringing your guests on. So in other words, using it like we previously had set up for the whole, previously set up, where you're bringing your guest in with a guest interview mode, right? You're just bringing guests in. They don't really need to see what's on your screen. They don't need to see the text on your screen. The second scenario is bringing your guests on and also sending your Ecamm production into Zoom because your audience is in Zoom. And that is where it's going to be crucial that you're sending the highest resolution out that you can. That way your people, your audience can read, can see, it's not blurry, things like that. So the way that we're going to do that, the first thing that we want to do is so you have to have a paid Zoom account for this to work. So you need to actually email Zoom and tell them, hey, bump up my resolution. You can do that by putting a support ticket in at Zoom. And if you're paid and you're just a paid pro account, then you can have resolution up to 720p. And if you are a business or enterprise account, you can get up to 1080. And again, this is realistically 720 is going to work. Your people are going to be able to see it. So 720 is okay. It's not terrible. And so once you've done that and they've said that they've enabled it for your account, you need to go into two different places in your account and turn HD on. So you need to turn it in the account settings. There is a HD setting in there, and that will allow you to to have HD enableable on your account. So once you've done that, then you go into your account. So the way that Zoom works is if you have an account, they assume that you may be part of a larger account, or you're going to have larger accounts. You may have your Zoom account and your friend's Zoom account and your coworker's Zoom account all under the same account. So that's why you have to say at the account level, yes, we're going to do HD. And then at your specific account, you need to say turn HD on. And then still, though, that allows it to happen, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to happen. So that's why I wanted to talk today a little bit about what that means and how you can get the highest resolution for your Zoom accounts. So the first thing that we're going to note is that if you bring anybody on your stream as a guest, so in Ecamm, right? We're talking Ecamm here. So I've got Tester here. If I add Tester as a camera, Tester will start sending me the highest resolution video that he can from based on my account. So what that means is that because I have a pro account and I've enabled HD, I get 720. So Tester, as long as his bandwidth will provide it, he will start sending me 720p video. So that's not a problem. That's easy. Again, this is why we're talking this two different scenarios when we're talking how we're using Zoom. So again, if we're just bringing guests in from Zoom into it from a Zoom room, that's not a big deal because they will automatically Zoom will be or Ecamm will request the highest resolution possible when you bring them in as a camera. When you say, hey, I want to bring Tester in as a camera and I add Tester, as soon as I do that, Tester will start sending me 720p video. Or if I had the enterprise account, Tester would be sending me 1080p. Now, again, if we're talking about sending this video that I'm sending from Ecamm and sending this pre-live out into another account, there's a few things that we need to do. So like if your audience, again, is in Zoom, if your main audience is in Zoom, so there are a few different things that you'll need to do. So let me switch over to, so this is my second computer where I'm joined, and just for sake of keeping it simple, I switched it over to my camera as opposed to the Ecamm production, because if I chose the Ecamm production that I'm sending, it would get kind of goofy. So the very first thing that you need to do is somebody that's joining your meeting. I would be viewing, instead of in gallery where you're seeing everybody, you're in speaker mode. And so what that does is that makes a larger resolution of the camera. And so then you also want to go full screen. So if you can tell one person in your video, one person in your call to go full screen, that's going to cause you, and in speaker mode, you to send your highest resolution video back to them. So I'm gonna go back to this screen here. So does that make sense? So as long as one of the people that are watching your video is set to gallery or speaker mode and they're in full screen, then that will cause Zoom to ask to send you the full resolution. And so you can actually see what Zoom is sending. If you're in Ecamm, you can click the three dots and say Zoom meeting settings, and then go down to statistics. And what you'll see in statistics is if you go over to video. Now, I'm not receiving any video because my test account is not sending any video to me at all. But as you can see here, because that other account on my other computer is full screen and in speaker mode, I'm sending 1280 by 720, which is 720p video. So you can always go in there and see what you're sending and what you're receiving. So that's a way to easily see what kind of resolution that you're seeing. And again, if you're sending that, that's going to look okay. So if for instance, if I go in and we go back into the what are we doing here? Into the video. Sorry, got too many windows open here. And then we go to, this is my, you can't really see any difference. Well, you can video quality, just the way it's set up right now. And for some reason, it looks like my capture card is maybe not working today for some reason. But that would end up being 720p video, which would be an okay amount to be able to read what you're seeing. So again, if you were to make sure that you have someone full screen and have them full screen and have them in speaker mode. Sorry, there you go. I have too many things in my brain at once. In speaker mode and full screen, then what you would see is that you're starting to send 720p video. So now if I go back, let's just take that for instance. If I go back into gallery mode, and then let's bring you into demo mode and show you the Zoom meeting settings, and I look at statistics now I'm only sending 640 by 360. So that video is not great. But again, that it caused Zoom to send a higher resolution of me as soon as I, in my Zoom meeting, went to speaker mode, because what that does is it's going to make a larger video of me, and then I full screened it. And as soon as I did that, then it started sending a fuller version. Now, the other thing that you probably want to take into consideration is the idea of spotlighting. And so if you've ever been in a Zoom meeting and somebody starts to talk, then their video, obviously it switches over to that. So if you're in active speaker mode, you're gonna be switching to whoever is speaking. And so if you have guests in your Zoom meeting that are speaking, then that is also gonna provide an issue, because then as soon as they start speaking, they won't see your Zoom your production in Ecamm anymore. They're gonna see they're just gonna see whoever's speaking. And so what you have to do is, I'll go back into live demo mode here real quick. And what you have to do is you end up having to spotlight. And so what you do is you click on your video in your Zoom and you say, well, this is not going to work now since I only have one other person in the meeting. But if there's more than one person in the meeting, pinning is just for me. So if I pin it, that's just going to show me full screen. But if I do what's called spotlighting, which again, you can't see it because you have to have more than two people in a meeting. Spotlighting will then send my video to everybody. It'll make it so I, as the host, I can spotlight my video. No one else can see it. Just my video shows up. So then my production shows up. They'll still be able to see each other along the top here as they're talking, but the main video that they see here, where you see Tester's name right now, will be actually your production for Ecamm. So that's a way that you can show your production in Ecamm. So those are just a few tips. Hopefully this helped you in your summer of live. Again, Zoom is an amazing software. Zoom allows you to easily bring guests in and easily have easily bring it in, so that way they feel comfortable being in there. Your guests feel comfortable being in there. And so I would definitely use the Zoom integration in Ecamm. Again, if you've not checked out Ecamm, you can go to podcastanswers.com/Ecamm. That's ECAMM. You'll get a trial for Ecamm, and it's just an amazing software to try. So guys, without further ado, have a great day, and hopefully you're enjoying the weather.